This is our kindergarten unit on lines and shapes. We're going to start with our Larry the Line poem.
Hey kindergarten friends, as part of this unit on lines and shapes, I brought my friend Larry. Larry is a snake, but he's also a line. So we're going to practice a poem about Larry, and we're going to use our arm to help us and also our magic drawing finger to help us. So I'm going to say a line, and then I want you to repeat it after me. Are you ready? Okay. Get your Larry ready. This could be your Larry. Snakehead, say hello, Larry. Hello, Larry. All right, so you're going to start by saying, Larry the Line is a friend of mine. Your turn. He can make 3 straight lines for me. All right, vertical, horizontal, diagonal. Any curve he can learn with a twist and a turn. When he gets out of his tangle, he makes a great angle. All right, let's try that all together. All right. Larry the Line is a friend of mine. He can make 3 straight lines for me. Vertical, horizontal, diagonal. Any curve he can learn with a twist and a turn. And when he gets out of his tangle, he makes a great angle. All right, so Larry helps us learn straight vertical lines, horizontal lines, diagonal lines that go from top to bottom. So vertical, horizontal, diagonal. Curvy lines can curve up and down, or they can go loop around. And then angular lines always have a point, like a zigzag. Angular lines. All right, you probably noticed there are a lot of lines in the collage behind me. So practice your Larry the Line poem to help you remember the different kinds of lines. And then we'll be working on drawing and cutting and doing all kinds of fun things with lines. So have fun making art.
Next, we're going to practice making lines and shapes using Wikki Stix. So you have a bag of Wikki Stix in your kit. You're going to take all of your Wikki Stix out and spread them. Wikki Stix are just string covered in wax, so they bend nicely. If you want an angular line, you're going to press when you bend and you'll get points. And there's your angular or zigzag line. If you want to try to curve it, you can bend it. Make sure it has a curve at the top, and there's a curvy line. There's a nice straight line. And you can also make shapes just by attaching the edge. So see how many shapes you can build with your Wikki Stix. Remember, if you want to point, use your fingers and squish the corners. And one more last shape. I cannot wait to hear about the lines and shapes that you make using your Wikki Stix. For your next project, you're going to create a line sculpture. A sculpture is something that is 3-dimensional. It is not flat. You're going to start with your strips of paper, a piece of paper to glue it down to, and your glue. Start each one by bending a foot or 2 feet. The feet give your sculpture something to stand up on and give you a place to put your glue. For this one, I'm just bending it back and forth. I'm making sure I press on those bends so I can create angular lines. I'm going to open my glue bottle, and I'm going to make sure I have a dot. Our glue rule is dot, dot, not a lot. If I count to 10, 1 dot of glue will hold my piece where I want it. Once it's dry, same thing, 1 dot of glue, hold it down, count to 10, and that should hold your piece together. For this next one, I'm going to just start by bending feet and I'm going to create a big curve. So to make the curve, I'm putting one foot down and the other over the top of my other piece, and I'm going to hold it down and count to 10. And you can see my sculpture is starting to look three-dimensional and not flat. For this one, I'm rolling it up to create a spiral. And I'm still bending my foot to give it a way to stand up. I'm going to put the glue on. If I'm not careful, the piece will not stick, so I have to make sure I use just a dot and that oops, I didn't count to 10. Make sure you count to 10. You can continue with all the strips of your paper until you have a sculpture that you are happy with. Remember, a sculpture is three-dimensional and it is not flat. Good luck making your sculpture. I can't wait to see what you make. Next, we're going to work on drawing lines and shapes and some careful coloring. First, start by using just your black marker and drawing as many different kinds of lines as you can think of. Straight lines, curvy lines, zigzag or angular lines, dotted lines. You're also going to then draw some shapes. Carefully draw your shapes. Take your time to do your best work. Think about each shape and how many sides it has. See if you can do some tricky shapes like hearts and stars. It is okay if you can't make them quite yet. It's good to practice. When you're done, you're going to color in. When we color, we're going to use crayon, and we're going to be careful to color in small circles or in one direction. Our goal with coloring is to make sure our shape really shows and to fill it in as neatly as we can. We're going to make sure there are no white spots. We're going to take our time and be patient as we color. Oh my gosh, oh no, Mrs. Gleason, don't do that. That is not neat coloring. I cannot wait to see your lines and shapes and how your coloring went. Our next project is a shape collage. In your kit, you have several different shapes. See if you can take them out and name those shapes. You can use the shapes to build things. So here I am practicing different things. If I use different shapes in different ways, I can build a house, a car, a tree. What can you build with your shapes? Once you've spent some time playing with them, I want you to pick one thing to make with your shapes, and then you're going to glue them down. Remember, make sure your glue is opened and make sure you close it at the end. For this, just a dot in each corner. Dot, dot, not a lot. Hold it down, count to 10, and put it all together. After that, you can use your pencil or your markers or your crayons and add some details. If you don't have all the shapes you need, you can draw the shapes. So I have turned my triangle, my circle, and my rectangle into a bird. I can't wait to see what you make with yours. For our next lesson, we're going to work on cutting shapes and turning them into mice. Can you find the different shapes in my mouse? Anything we make can be made using shapes. Starting with a small piece of paper from your box. Your paper is a rectangle. You're going to cut up and turn your rectangle into a square. And then you're going to turn it sideways and turn your square into two triangles. If I continue to cut smaller rectangles, I can then use my small piece left to create a circle from a rectangle or from a square. All I'm doing is nibbling off the corners. I turned it into an octagon, and if I keep cutting those pointy corners off, it will begin to become round. This takes a lot of practice, so I'd like you to start by practicing cutting shapes using one of the small pieces of paper in your box. After you're done cutting your shapes, move them around and see if you can build a mouse. Your mouse does not have to look like mine. You can use your shapes in a variety of different ways. and sometimes they might not look like a mouse. But continue to move them around and play with them. When you have a mouse you're happy with, you're going to glue it down to a page in your sketchbook and you can draw in details. Happy cutting and making. For the next lesson, you're going to be looking at art with my friend Detective Dali.
Hola, I am Detective Dali. I am here to help you find shapes in artworks. Look at these famous paintings by famous artists and see if you can discover different shapes. Can you name those shapes?